Hello, and welcome to the Besotted Geek. I'm Stork, but I'd rather be Jean-Luc Picard. And today I'm going to be doing a little Tiers of a Geek via Tier Maker to determine the ranking of Star Trek uniforms. Yes, we're going clothing, and this was brought to my attention by Pittsburgh Nerd's own Sean. So kudos to you. Thanks to you, Sean, for this idea. I think it's a good one. And I'm looking forward to tiering these. I have basically the TOS pilot episode all the way, including movies, I think most of them, all the way to Picard Season 3. So pretty current. I don't have them in any sort of order here. It just didn't work out. I wish Tier Maker was a little more nice when you went about sale. I actually made this tier, and when I saved it, I had them all in a nice, neat order. But then when I went to go do it, they're just a jumbled mess. So bear with me. I'm just going to try to go in some semblance of order. I might mess it up a bit, per usual, but there we go. So first off, and you can't really see it too well in this picture, but we have the pilot episode with Pike and Spock, and they're playing with what's to come. The blue, the palish blue, the palish mustard look. It's not vibrant enough for me, but that might just be the picture. The thing that throws me off about it is that collar. It's like a knit sweater type look. I don't really like this. I'm glad they went in a different direction. It seems like there's only two colors also, and I'm not a fan of that. As you'll see as we go through this, I like the distinction of the different areas that you work on a starship. I think that's cool. I think that's what sets it apart from other things. Like, think about armed forces or whatever. This is based on naval, so let's go that way. Yeah, your higher ups will have certain uniforms, but everybody looks the same, and I think that's boring. It works to a certain extent for realism, but we're in the 23rd, 4th century, one of those, maybe. I like that aspect that I can look at a red shirt and be like, oh, you're security or engineering. I wish they would do more. I wish that they would use more colors. I think that even if it was just like, so you have your basic, maybe not everybody knows this, but red, yellow, and blue, your basic colors that can't be combined, but they combine to make other colors, right? So then red and blue, purple, red and yellow, orange, so on and so forth. I wish those offset colors meant something. Like maybe that was somebody who did both, or maybe that was just a specific function, or maybe the captain wears, like sometimes Kirk would wear green. And don't be fooled by certain places that say that, oh, it wasn't green, it was just that shirt showed up different on based on the camera at the time. No, bullshit. It's green. I've seen that. I've explored it. It's definitely different from the gold that he usually wears. So, anywho, I like the color distinctions, and I'm going to be swayed by that. And this is my list, so I can be. For this, it's the first one, so I'll cut them some slack. They're doing something different. They're not just in space suits or whatever. So as much as I want to put it at the very bottom, I know there's worse. I might move it. I'm going to put it at level C. Oh, and by the way, for those not viewing it as a video, I have 5 tiers. The lowest being D, then C, then B, then A, then the top tier being no bloody A, B, C, or D, as a little homage to Scotty. Because, as we all know...
Welcome to All Things Scottish. Our slogan is, if it's no Scottish, it's crap!
Damn right. and also that. All right, that's enough. All right, let's move on to the actual original series. We get much brighter uniforms, the introduction of red, the third primary color. I think that's the word I was looking for earlier. The better, sleeker look, not the knit collar look. I think they're great. I really like these, and I like that they designate science as blue, engineering is red, ops, I think, is yellow. Is it ops? It's not command. That comes about later. That's why I wish the leader or the top of that certain thing would have a different color. Like, I think Bones should be, I don't know, white or purple, or and Jim Kirk should be green because he's the captain. I think they should play that off as like the at least the second officer, the first officer and second. I mean, they should be a little more distinguished from the rest. I wish they would do that. I hope they do that in the future. But I can't deny that this is really setting the groundwork for, and it's one of my favorite uniforms. So I'm going to put it right up at A, and we'll see where it goes from there, because I don't think it's the best representation of the uniform yet. It's a little clunky with the pants, and the boots really throw me off. Those big fake leather high top boots things. That's I do love Kirk's green relaxed captain shirt though, with the belt that goes across the side. I think that's pretty cool. I wish we'd see more of it. I like the relaxed captain look. Even Picard has a version of that when he's wearing that jacket. Speaking of Picard, this was TOS / animated series. I'm not going to speak of Picard, even though that's next on the list I'm choosing from. We are still in TOS era. We're going to go to the movie, and wow, was this a step backwards? Even though they were trying to be more modern, I feel, but it's all white, gray, and pale mustard, and it looks awful on these oldsters. I mean, Kirk's showing off the guns in the one picture with the short-sleeved one, but it's not good. I think this might be one of the worst. It's definitely worse than the pilot, so I will put it at the D level. It's not good. And then we get the Wrath of Khan look. Everybody's dressed the same, which I think is boring. It's all red. Is it better than the original motion picture movie? Yes, but I actually like the uniform. It looks too stiff. They're too. It looks like dress uniforms, and everybody's wearing the same thing. And it's like you show up at the party and you're like, "Oh, really, Spock?" But yeah, it's the belt across of it and the flap. It doesn't do it for me that everybody is dressed the same. I know it makes sense in like a military aspect, but as far as I know, there's still a science vessel, an exploration vessel. I know Starfleet, they walk that line between that and military, but I will fall back on, I want some distinguishing uniforms between different things. Yes, you can have your military dress red, but I want the science to dress blue. And it doesn't do it for me. It's better than the motion picture. It's very similar. I think I'm gonna keep it on C level with the pilot for the original series. I don't think I'm willing to bump original series up to B level though, because they are so close. They have two colors. Whoop-de-doo. It's barely different. Even the motion picture has a few different colors. Awful colors as they are, but still they're different, but still I'm keeping that at the bottom. So then we're going to go into next gen, and I believe it's years 1 and 2. And this is the one where it's pretty much what we know. The color on the shirt, mostly black up top, the little weird black pattern at the bottom and the black pants. But this one has the piping around the top as well. I think that's the only distinguishing feature between it and the future uniforms for next gen. I don't mind it. At least they're back to 3 different colors. So I kind of like that. It's paying kind of an homage to the original series. So it's better than the pilot, and it's better than the motion picture to me. The piping, it bugs me for some reason. I don't know. It just doesn't seem right. And it's probably because it was for only 2 seasons, and I'm used to watching Next Gen and used to seeing them in the more used uniform. So I'm going to put it above those other 2 and put it at level B for our first entry into the B level. So then we have Next Gen normal uniforms. I like the normal uniforms. They're colorful. You know who's doing what. I don't love that Command is red, so it kind of limits because it's just Picard and Riker. And for some reason, Wesley, I guess you see other people walking around in red, so I guess they're studying to be Command. I don't know. I just wish that it was a little more shared, I guess, would be my one complaint. But I'm going to put it up at level A with the original series main uniform. And I think they're pretty similar. So moving on. Now, I believe we move into the movies and also Voyager and Deep Space Nine's early seasons. I think maybe all of Voyager. Possibly all of Deep Space. I don't know. But Voyager didn't really have the chance because they're just stuck in space, right? So let's go there. And we have basically the same. It's kind of the flip of the Next Gen uniform, whereas the main shirt is red or blue or yellow and the shoulders are black. They flip it. So the main shirt's black pants. The shoulders are the colored part. And then they have that gray shirt underneath. It's pretty classy looking. I kind of like this one. I don't know if I love it enough to put it in no bloody A, B, C, or D level, but I think it's pretty sleek and modern looking, which is funny to say for a show that's supposed to be 200 years in the future or whatever. But I think is it better than the other ones? I don't think so, but it's definitely not worse. So I'm going to stick it up there with A, with the classic Trek uniform from Next Gen and TOS. I think it fits there. And then we go to, we're getting more monochromatic, and basically we got the black shirt. Now the shoulders are gray and the undershirt is the color. So it's the flip of the last one. It doesn't look bad, but you're straying from what I like about the Trek uniforms, the colorfulness. So this one, I'm not afraid to put a bar lower than the last one. It's still, I see what they're doing. They're progressing. I think unnecessarily so. I think sometimes they just want to do it for change's sake. And to me, this is one of them. It's not drastic. A lot of them aren't, honestly. The Next Gen ones aren't very drastic changes, but I do have preferences. This one, it's just going towards generic to me. So I don't hate it though. I think it's level B for me. And I guess we're entering Enterprise at this point. And this is a blah to me. This is the blue jumpsuits, and there's piping around the shoulders that are colored different. So I get the show is the first starship from Earth exploring. So it's very, even the show has you're in a submarine feel. It's very confining and everything. There's no frills. So they're still basing the uniform on, and it makes sense. They're basing the uniform on being on a boat and being militaristic. So it does make sense, but that doesn't mean I have to like it. The dark blue with the piping, again, boring to me. Do I hate it as much as the motion picture? I might, honestly. Yeah. I don't think, like, at least the Wrath of Khan era with the red, it looked cool. Even though it was a little fancy, it looked cool. These they look cheap. So I'm going to put it at level D. I think they're pretty garbage. And then we move on to, before we get to the new era, the golden age of Star Trek TV, if you will. Although one peacock might argue that and say that the Next Gen Voyager Deep Space Nine era was the golden age. Maybe. Then maybe this is the Renaissance or the Silver Age. I don't know. But before we get to that, we do have the JJ movies. I really like these uniforms. They brought back the brightness, the blue and the red and the gold, and I like the little Starfleet insignia at certain areas on the uniform. It's very on close-ups you notice it, otherwise you don't. The black underneath, the black t-shirt underneath looks nice, kind of like a mock turtleneck look. I think it looks good, and it really harkens back to the original series. And I would be I think it's top. I think it's top notch. And maybe it's because they had the budget to do it too, but I really like that one. It's very similar, I get, to TOS, so how do I put it above it? But I think it's better. I think it takes that core uniform and improves it. So I'm putting that way at the top. No bloody A, B, C, or D for that one. And then moving on, we have Discovery seasons, I think 1 through 3, very reminiscent and appropriately so of the Enterprise, because they're kind of like the next phase of that, of the Enterprise blue jumpsuit, a little more form-fitting, not as baggy and cheap looking. It's kind of like metallic stuff on the sides that they do differentiate a little bit. I think some are gold and some are silver. It's still pretty generic and blah to me. I don't love it. I never did. I'm going to put that at the bottom. I think that's a bad one too. I see what they were doing. They were kind of like bridging the gap, but I don't think they bridged the gap well enough. I think they, like, even Enterprise had the piping that showed the different colors. I think they should have done that. If they would have done that with the sides instead of making it like metallic different colors, if they made it red and yellow and blue, I might have been more inclined to raise it up a bit, but they're pretty boring and everybody looks the same, and it just doesn't work for me. So then I think we might get to, I believe, like Lower Decks and Picard season 1. So let's do Lower Decks first. I think it might have came out first. So I really like these uniforms. Of course, it's a cartoon, so they're brighter. So right away, I really like that. I like the white piping. I like the fold over. It's like they're incorporating a lot of the different uniforms. It's almost a hybrid between the original series or even a Next Gen's better uniforms and the Wrath of Khan type stuff with the fold over flap. And the white piping, maybe even like a little callback to the Next Gen, and it's set in that era, a little bit after that era, I think. So yeah, it's definitely past that, because there's like statues to O'Brien and things like that. They talk about the Picard maneuver, so it's past that era. But I really like these uniforms, and we're gonna get to see them in live, living color when they do the Lower Decks and Strange New Worlds crossover. I'm excited for that. I just saw a picture of it today. It looks awesome. Boimler and Mariner. They look great. So although and it's live action. It's in Strange New Worlds. They are. It's not the other way around. I don't know if they're going to do back and forth. That'd be fun. I'm not sure about that, but the colors are muted when they go to the real world a little bit. It's more traditional next gen colors to me, but these are much brighter and fun. And I really like these. I wouldn't mind seeing these. It might be too much live action now that I look at it, but I like the overall aesthetic of it, so I'm going to put that at the top. I think that's one of the best ones. And then we will move on to... let's do Discovery Season 4. And this is where we finally get some color, so we're kind of like bridging the gap to TOS, even though it's way in the future. It's weird that they chose to do that, but... I don't like the asymmetricalness of it. If this picture was bigger, you'd see, I believe, that Burnham's shirt ends in like a asymmetrical type thing at the bottom. I appreciate that they're using colors now, though. I do like that. So I like the look of it much more than what we've had. So I definitely would put it above that one, the previous 3 seasons, which is at level D for me right now. I probably would put it above the TOS pilot and Rathacon as well. At least they're doing something. Let's put it at B. Then we have, I might have messed up here. Picard Season 1. I think that came out before. Yeah, I should have done that after Lower Decks. Apologies. Kind of a muted next gen look. The dress uniform's a little different, a little more line work on it, the shoulders and things like that, and the slanted shoulders. But if you look at this picture of Riker and the Romulan trader, it's pretty standard with next gen. So yeah, I think it's fine. I don't have a problem with it. I don't love it because it's just what it is. I'm kind of like, whatever. So I would just put that at the middle. So I'll just throw that at level B. It's fine. It's not doing anything to offend the ones I like, and it's not really improving upon them to the point where I'm like, oh, that's cool or different. So I think it's middle of the ground. Then we have, let's do Strange New Worlds. And this is, they're trying to follow TOS, and I think they do a good job at it. It's the standard yellow, blue, red. I like the white on the medical staff. I think that's new and different and makes sense. So I think they look pretty tight as a uniform, and I'm tempted to put it at the very top, but it's kind of a copy of what's come before, and I don't think they did it as well as the movie, the JJ movies. So I'm gonna put it at B, although I could be swayed to put it at the very top. Then we have Star Trek Prodigy, the cartoon, which I only saw a couple episodes of. Didn't really like. I don't think I even got to see them in their uniforms. The uniforms look like kind of boring. It's black, looks like a black onesie almost, and just a gray shoulder thing that asymmetrical comes down in a slanted pattern, and it looks pretty boring and dull. And I don't really have much to say about it since I haven't watched the show, but I don't see anything that differentiates a crew member to a different crew member. So you know what that means. That's bottom of the barrel to me. I'm going to put that at level D. And Picard Season 3, it's kind of a lower decks thing going on with the across the shoulder, almost like they're wearing jackets, which I kind of like. Still have the colorful shoulders, the red, the yellow. I'm sure there's blue too. I don't see it in this picture, but a little more muted, a little darker, but it's also just a darker ship. That's one of the things that kind of bums me out is I like when the ship is bright. I like, not lens flare bright, JJ. Slow down. Just bright, like the original Next Generation. You walk in, you can see everything, you can see everybody. Even when they are in night mode, for some reason, it's still brighter than all the movies and a lot of the modern TV shows. Everything has to be so dark. I don't get it. Like, Star Trek is hopeful about the future. And so I think the bridge of the ship should reflect the brightness that they're trying to portray on the screen as a story. And they really don't do it that much. Strange New Worlds, maybe a little more. It's been a while since I watched the first season, but I think that's what I liked about the JJ movies. It felt a little more sterile, though. Everything was so white. I don't need it to be like reflecting off of everything, like light reflecting off every surface and everything's sterile like that. But I want to be able to see the people. I want to be able to see and enjoy the uniforms and the different controls and the ship itself. So yeah, it kind of bums me out when they go that route of just, okay, let's make it look cool by making it look dark and gloomy. And it's not cool to me. It works for certain things, but I don't think it works for Star Trek. So anyway, this one, I don't mind the uniforms, but again, they're kind of like a combination of other things that have come before. So I think they're probably smack dab in the middle. So I'm going to put them at level B. And that does it. That's all, I think 16 different uniforms. There may be some different ones out there. I don't know, but these are the ones I saw on a website, nerdist.com, that, again, Papa Nerd sent me. Thanks again, Sean. And yeah, let me know what you think. If I messed anything up or it was crazy to put one thing in a different location. I'll go over them real quick for the visually impaired. We have at level D, the bottom, Star Trek Prodigy, Discovery Seasons 1 through 3, Enterprise, and Star Trek The Motion Picture. Then next we have level C with the Wrath of Khan Plus, I'd say. You know, after the motion picture, the old crew, those movies, the Red, and the original pilot. Right in the middle, we have level B, and that's where I have the Next Generation Seasons 1 and 2, I believe, as well as I think Generations movie and the later seasons of Deep Space Nine. Discovery Season 4, Picard, all of Picard, both of them, Season 1 and Season 2 through 3, I think, are what they are representing. At level A, just off the top, is the original series, Next Gen Seasons 3 through 7, I think 7 seasons. The early years of Deep Space Nine, as well as all of Voyager, I think, and early Next Gen movies, I think just First Contact, and Strange New Worlds. And at the very top, no bloody A, B, C, or D, we have the JJ movies and Lower Decks. So that is it. Thanks for watching. And if you're a listener, I will get some audio out on this soon as well. And you can follow me at Beside a Geek Pod on Twitter. And check out the patreon.com/Beside a Geek, where the videos drop. I may add them to YouTube. What's our YouTube channel? YouTube.com/Beside a Geek, something like that. I don't know. If you just search Beside a Geek on YouTube, I'm sure we'll pop up. I don't have much out there right now. I took a lot of stuff down. I'm kind of repopulating it with new stuff. So check that out. And once again, thanks for listening, watching, whatever. And I'll talk to you later. See ya.